Thanks for downloading a 3CR podcast. 3CR is an independent community radio station based in Melbourne, Australia. We need your financial support to keep going. Go to www.3cr.org.au for more information and to donate online. Now stay tuned for your 3CR podcast.
Sabah al-Khair. Good morning, dear listeners. You're listening to Radio 3CR on 855 AM and Palestine Remembered with Dr Ahmad Tibi, Robert Martin and Nasser Al-Mashni. Thank you for tuning in to another edition of Australia's only radio program that is totally dedicated to the Palestinian cause. In English language, we would like to welcome our listeners on the AM dial and those who will join us later on 3cr.org.au/podcasts. This episode will be an interview that Robert and other activists conducted with Mr. Ahmad Tibi, Palestinian member of the Israeli Knesset. So stay with us and enjoy the episode. Good morning, Nasser.
Morning, Yusuf. How you doing?
Nasser, today we have an important interview that our international correspondents did.
Our international correspondent has filed this report from Palestine.
Yes. Tell us about what we are going to listen to.
We're going to hear from Ahmad Tibi, who is a Palestinian Israeli and a member of the Knesset, and one of 10 deputy speakers of the Knesset. I don't know how that actually works. But he is a very, very important figure within 48 Palestine, representing 20% plus of the population of the State of Israel. And he shares his views on the future of the two-state solution, BDS, as well as how he would fare in a Bibi versus Tibi election.
Excellent. That sounds like a very interesting topic to talk about. But also for those who know little about the Arab representation within the Knesset, we're talking about probably nearly a quarter of the Israeli passport holders are from Arab origin, Palestinians basically, whether Muslims, Christians or Jews. And these people have rights and they have been marginalized since the inception of the State of Israel. And the least is to advocate and fight for their rights within this shared space. However, there is a political, there will always be political understanding of what's going to happen with the future Palestinian state if there will be.
Yeah,
so
I think it's important, Yusuf, when we talk about the Arabs, one of the ways that the Israelis have endeavour to marginalise us is the Arabs are called minorities. We're defined whether we're
in plural,
not
the minority.
Yeah, not the minority. Not everybody that isn't Jewish.
Yeah.
In fact, we're segregated into Bedouins, Druze, Christians, Muslims. Whether they're we're from the Golan Heights or the Niqab. The efforts to fragment us continue, failing. Thankfully, but they do continue.
Failing thanks to efforts of people like Ahmad Tibi and others. So next will be an interview conducted by Robert, our co-host. And the guest is Mr. Ahmad Tibi, member of the Arab Joint List at the Knesset. Stay with us and we will be back shortly.
said that I promised him to be a member of my cabinet. And from this point, I will start talking about why we said it and why we are talking a lot about it in the last month. Usually there are two options in front of the Israeli Prime Minister: two-state solution and one-state solution. The international community is very much pro two-state solution. Independent Palestinian state, 1967, East Jerusalem as the capital, alongside the state of Israel. But Netanyahu, and he's very much proud of that, ruined the possibility of two-state solution. Every day passes without putting an end to occupation, increases the number and the areas of settlements, and makes it impossible to have and to create independent Palestinian state in these areas, which composes 22% of historical Palestine, West Bank and Gaza. Only 22%, because it's an historical compromise. There is no cessation in settlement activity, and every day there are buildings and settlements and buildings. That's why we are talking about the second option, one democratic state, and President Mahmoud Abbas talked about it in his speech in the United Nations before 1 month, in the last month. He said, we are supporting, we are pro, we want, we act for two-state solution, but if not, we are calling for equal rights for all citizens in historical Palestine. If there will be no two-state solution, and we are talking about one-state solution, there are two options for one-state solution. One option is democratic state. One person, one vote, for all, from sea to river. In this case, for demographic factors, Palestinians will pay more. In this case, and if there will be only two candidates, for example, Bibi and Tibi, I think that I will win, or another Palestinian candidate. But it's a nightmare for Israelis to have one-state democratic solution, because it's the end of Zionist dream and project. That's why whenever you are proposing two choices for Israeli Prime Minister, the two-state solution and one-state solution, they are choosing immediately the third option, which is not on the table, which is the status quo. To continue in the same situation now. Why? Because occupation is easy. It doesn't cost a lot for Israeli government, for the Israelis. Not economically, not diplomatically, not even security, nothing. And that's why Netanyahu is very much interested in prolonging the situation, as to say maybe Palestinians will lose faith, will be tired, and he will control, Israel will control the whole areas, and the international community will say nothing almost. But usually nations and peoples, especially under occupation, does not lose faith, and especially Palestinians. They are insisting on liberation, self-determination, and independent state, mainly putting an end to occupation. Meanwhile, there is a 20% of the Israeli populations who are the citizens of the State of Israel, the Arab minority, Palestinian minority. We are part of the Palestinian people. We are not immigrants. We did not arrive to Israel. We were here before Israel was constructed. And Israel is defined according to the Israeli basic law as Jewish and democratic. Jewish before democratic, not accidental. I am saying that there is a contradiction between the two values. If you are democratic, you believe in equal rights for all citizens, Jews and Arabs, black and white, men and women, secular and religious people. But when you are defining yourself as a state, as Jewish, you are saying that Moshe, as a Jewish citizen, is superior to Ahmed as a non-Jewish citizen. This is not democracy. This is the contradiction, fatal contradiction. That's why we are saying we want to strengthen the democratic aspect of the definition and not to accept the Jewish part of this definition. I am saying that Israel should be defined as a state of its all nationalities, and to accept and to define Arab minority as national minority. We are national minority, and according to the international covenants, there are rights for national minorities. We are not only persons separated. We are minority with rights that should be given to us in lands, in representation, etc. According to the official name given by the Israeli authorities to the Arabs in Israel, they are not calling us Arab minority, but minorities, mi'utin. They are fragmenting us intentionally to say that these are Muslims, Christians, Druze, Bedouins, North, South, etc. To fragment us. It's a colonial way of thinking. And we are saying we are one community, we are one minority, and we want rights according to this definition. There are three kinds of rules carried on by the government of Israel. One is democracy. Yes, democracy for only 80% of the citizens, Jewish citizens, for the Jewish majority. That's why I am calling it ethnocracy or eudocracy. Democracy for Jews only. The second rule is racial discrimination against 20% of the citizens, Arab citizens of the state of Israel. The third rule is occupation and apartheid in 1967. Israel should be dealt by the international community according to these three kinds of rules. But the international community is dealing with Israel only according to the first rule, and it's misleading. We are trying to explain our situation. We are citizens, we are willing, we are acting, we are struggling in order to be equal, and we are not equals. We are not. There are tens of laws discriminating between Jews and Arabs in Israel. Tens, especially land planning, etc., financing. That's why we are in the Knesset. That's why we are taking part in the elections, in order to change or to be there to present our position loudly in every place, in the street, in the media, in the Knesset, in the parliament, inside Israel, outside Israel, in the international community, in the universities, in the United States, in Europe, in the European Parliament, in the United Nations, in the White House. I have been in all these places, explaining the reality of the Israeli-Palestinian conflict and the Israeli-Arab conflict, especially the Arab minority situation. That's it. I am ready to have questions, which is always much more interesting.
As a member of the Knesset, are you allowed to live in Israel, or do you have to go back to...
No, I am in Israel. Okay.
So you can live in Israel a long time?
Yes.
You live in Jerusalem?
In my town, Tibi, which is an Arab town, inside the Green Line, inside Israel. All members of the parliament, even in Washington, they are separated. From Virginia, from California, they are living in Washington.
Do you see any progress of what you're saying and your goals basically moving forward? Or
Slow.
It's the same over and over again? And let's discuss it. And we'll not discuss again for 50 years.
Well,
Yeah.
Just,
It's slow.
yeah. How can we accelerate that?
Usually, for example, the massive confiscation of lands which took place in the past almost stopped. But instead, they are demolishing houses.
Yeah.
They are not recognizing villages in the south, in the Negev. 80,000 citizens, Arab Bedouin citizens, are not recognized. What is not recognized? No electricity, no infrastructure, no health services, no water supply, no education system, nothing.
No service, and they are paying taxes the same as everybody else.
Exactly.
So they are equal in taxation, but not equal in terms of service.
In rights, yes,
Yeah. But
definitely.
what-
You know,
I'm sorry.
and when we are explaining that, they said it is a part of the planning. It's a planning issue. We can move you to other places. But these people are here,
Right.
part of them before the State of Israel. They do not want to move. You should develop their places and supply basic terms and conditions for modern life. And they are not.
What do you say to those people that say, you know, Israel is a democratic state and the Arabs can vote and we have parliamentarians?
Okay.
What, I mean,
Democracy is not only election. It's a whole experience. It's a freedom to talk. It's a freedom to move. It's an equal sharing of the good of the state and of the lands. And we are not there at all. The state is defined ethnically as Jewish. From this definition emerges the unequal dealing between Jews and Arabs. And the budgets are not equal between Jews and Arabs. We owned in 1948 almost 94% of the lands. Today, Arabs owns only 3% of the private land in Israel. From more than 90 to 3%. All our lands were confiscated. More than 500 villages was demolished, erased. And instead, on top of these villages, part of them, Jewish villages were created, sometimes in the same name. And today, in al-Hiran in the Negev, which is an Arab Bedouin village, there is a decision to destroy the village and to create a Jewish settlement called Hiran, same name, but a Jewish instead of Arab. This is a hardcore of oppression. And when people resisted house demolition for more than 1 year, the police shot one of the house owners, Yaqub Abu Al-Gi'an, and killed him and said immediately after 20 minutes, he's ISIS. Why they are doing so? Because they can.
Why, though? It doesn't make sense. In South Africa, when these things were happening, the world stood against South Africa. Arm in arm, everybody said no more apartheid.
Meanwhile,
so why don't they do it here?
Meanwhile, the most important country in the world, which is the United States, is supporting settlement activity in the occupied West Bank, especially the ambassador of the United States and the White House. They are saying some lip tax only
BDS.
against settlements.
BDS.
And they are confronting, they are acting against BDS. According to the Israeli law, it's forbidden to say that you, or to call for boycott of settlement or settlement products. I am telling you that you should boycott settlement and settlement products. And I am sure you did.
We had one member of the group, they didn't let him in at the airport because
it's the BDS. Yes.
Yeah.
I'm part of a committee in Melbourne that's going to be BDS, and I'm going to be the face of it, so I know that I won't get back in.
No.
So if you talk about BDS in the Knesset, what happens? You just can't talk about it.
Say it now to you. Do it. Boycott settlements.
He says,
I said it from the podium in the Knesset. I said I am ready to pay the price. But because I have immunity, they are not.
Have you drawn up a constitution? I'm very new to all of this stuff. Most people probably know the answer. I don't. Have you drawn up a constitution for the one state, Palestine? Is there a written constitution?
There is a constitution written by the Palestinian leadership of the PLO for the Palestinian state. Yes.
a long time ago, right?
Yeah.
I say, would that still be valid for your one-state solution
No,
today?
it would be something different. It can be amended.
Wouldn't it, just as a question, in South Africa Mandela was surrounded by the best lawyers and wonderful people, many Jews, who he mentioned when he's talking in Times Square after his release. And he says, I'm surrounded by Jews to help me draw up the Constitution. Wouldn't it be useful to have a Constitution that you could put in front of people for a one-part state? A one-party state?
It's an early, but we should talk about this option. That's why President Abbas mentioned this option in his speech in the United Nations. No, yet the international community is still supporting the vision of two-state solution. And when Trump said, when he met Netanyahu, one state, two state, whatever, yeah, he said so, people started to talk about the one-state solution publicly more. But he did not mean one democratic state.
Right.
When you were talking about one or two states, you didn't mention the refugee situation. I wonder if you could address how the return of the refugees would relate to either of those solutions.
In one state solution, all these final status issues will be included in the one state. When there is one state, people can return wherever they want in the one state. There will be no issue of borders because it's one state.
Of course.
And the issue of the refugees will be solved. But it is not so easy. It's very much complicated because we are talking about two nations in a conflict, two nationalities. But I am saying you don't want two-state solution. Let's discuss seriously the other option.
But
One democratic state. Uri Savir wrote, who was Director General of the Foreign Ministry, wrote before 1 week in Ma'arif that if there will be one democratic state, Tibi will be the Prime Minister, not Bibi. As I said before, if there is one person, one vote, in a democratic way, that will be the result.
What's the feeling on the ground of the Palestinians?
Because
One state or two states?
not only Palestinians would vote for me or any Palestinian candidate, but also Jewish Democrats and liberals will vote for me and not for Netanyahu. I believe in equal rights, in liberty, in values, in peace between people, in reconciliation, not in oppression and occupation and superiority. No.
What's your personal preference, one state or two states?
I am supporting two-state solution, but I said day by day we are, because of the policy of Netanyahu, we are losing the chances of having two-state solution.
By design.
That's why we should discuss seriously the one-state solution also.
What do you say to those people that say settlements aren't an issue?
They are the most obvious obstacle for ending occupation. And settlers are the most influential lobby in Israel. This government is the most radical, the most racist, the most extreme. It's the highest lobby for settlers is the government.
How about any possibility of civil disobedience by the Palestinians and refuse to pay taxes?
It can be done in the future.
Yeah, but what is there any movement toward that? Because ultimately,
You are talking about Palestinians inside Israel.
Yeah.
Because Palestinians in the West Bank are paying taxes to the Palestinian Authority.
yeah, but it just against taxes to the Israeli government. That's what I'm talking about.
Okay.
So any possibility of civil disobedience? It's just to get the attention, hey, we are serious about it.
We are talking about civil, non-violent
That's what I
acts.
mean. That's what I mean.
Still, we are not close to this point that you are referring to.
Who in Washington do you think is the most receptive when you go there? Who would the people be that you would put the most hope in supporting Palestinian people? Any legislators that you've met? Any people that you think?
I met both think tanks, congressmen, White House, State Department, intellectuals, universities. I was there. Next month I will be there again. Media. It's a challenging effort. And Palestinians and Arabs should do more in Washington, and they are not doing enough. They are not doing enough, both Palestinians and Arabs.
We have people in this room from America, from the UK, from Australia. We're going to go home and be activists as we were. But what do you think we can do in our respective countries?
You will meet in this visit Arab politicians, Palestinians. You will see the reality on the ground, villages non-recognized. You are visit Arab villages inside Israel. That's the picture that you should carry with you and explain for decision making politicians in the parliament, in the media, in your countries. Thank you very much. I hope you will enjoy your tour.
Thanks very much for time.
With this, we have come to the end of this week's episode of Palestine Remembered. Robert Martin spoke with Mr. Ahmad Tibi, member of the Arab Joint List at the Knesset and an advocate of the Palestinians' rights inside Israel. Thanks for being with us, and remember to tune in. Same time, 9:30 in the morning. This is Nasser, Yusuf and Robert wishing you the best of all times and salam.